everyone, Flashrabbit here, and we're in Snapshot 20W07A. Mojang have been really generous with us this time. They've given us 2 snapshots in a very short space of time, and there's been yet more changes, would you believe? Yes, more changes. Goodness me, is there any more? I don't think I can cope. We can now craft beacons from our netherite blocks, but it does seem a mightily extravagant way to get a beacon. You're looking to find 4 pieces of ancient debris per chunk in the nether. You're then having to smelt them down into netherite scraps to then craft into ingots to then make a netherite block, and just one of these will take you a good while to get, and then to use all of it on a beacon. I don't know. The only benefit I can see is that the netherite block is blast resistant, so you know, if you're in maybe building it in the nether and you don't want a gas blowing it up, then perhaps this is the best material to build it from. My advice would be to build it out of iron. You get exactly the same benefits as you do with the netherite counterpart, and it's a lot cheaper. The GUI has changed to include the netherite ingot to be able to charge the beacon. So yeah, I mean, it's entirely up to you. It'd certainly be the ultimate flex, wouldn't it, to show to your mates that you've managed to gather enough ancient debris so you can make a beacon out of netherite blocks. Goodness me. The other change in the 20W07A update is the introduction of the Hoglin, a new mob that joins us in the nether to make our time there a little more perilous. And they spawn randomly wearing a piece of gold armour. They will either carry a crossbow or a golden sword. It's only the second mob in the game to be able to carry a crossbow. The other, of course, being the pillagers. Now, piglins will be immediately hostile to the player. They won't give you any second chances. The only way you can protect yourself is to wear golden armour, and you only need 1 piece of golden armour to be protected. As soon as you take that armour off, it's fair game. They're going to come for you. They're absolutely going to come for you. Now, baby piglins are not hostile, unlike their zombie pigment counterparts. They spawn without any armour, they spawn without any weapons, and they're not aggressive in the slightest towards you. Now, even if you are wearing golden armour, if you were to mine a gold block in the nether and they see you, they're going to attack you. If you open a chest and they see you, they're going to attack you. And they're not only going to come in ones, they're going to come at you as a pack. They like to hunt in packs. The other mob that's been introduced into the nether, we'll take a look at that in a moment, is the Hoglin. Now, piglins do like to hunt Hoglins, but usually when they're in groups. If they're on their own, they tend to not to bother. But they won't hunt the baby Hoglin. They seem to respect the fact that they are babies and they don't pose much of a threat. Now, the beautiful thing about this mob now is that we can barter. This is another mob that we can interact with and get something back from. And there's a whole sort of bartering system, a whole loot table that you can get from these guys. You've got the rarer items up at the top there, and you've got the more common items down at the bottom here. So let's have a look and see what we can get from them. First of all, you'd need a gold ingot to be able to trade with them, and if you right click to use the gold ingot on the piglin, they will throw you a random piece of loot. Or you can just drop the gold ingot on the floor, and again, they'll just chuck a random piece of loot at you. Now, these 3 items are weighted 1, so they're on the rarer end of the scale. And that's, you'll get either you'll get 1 piece of nylium. I don't get that, to be honest. I don't see why that's really so rare, because you can pick it up quite easily in the nether in Warped Forest. But you know, we can get between 1 and 4 pieces of nether quartz, which is absolutely fabulous, because that makes nether quartz a renewable resource for the first time in the game, which is brilliant. We can get a piece of obsidian. Again, it makes obsidian a renewable item again for the first time ever in the game. Slightly more common, weighted 2, is glowstone dust. You'll get between 2 and 4 pieces of that. You'll get between 1 and 3 pieces of magma cream, and between 2 and 4 ender pearls. A little more common, more likely, is the new shroom lights. You'd get one of those in exchange for your gold ingot. You'd get one fire charge in exchange for your gold ingot. And another piece of another item that's renewable for the first time ever, gravel. You'll get between 4 and 12 pieces of gravel. Again, renewable for the first time ever in the game. You'll get between 2 and 5 pork chops in exchange for your gold ingot, between 2 and 7 pieces of leather, and between 1 and 2 warped fungi. Now over here, these are the items that you're most likely to get, weighted 10. 1 to 4 pieces of soul sand, again a renewable source for soul sand for the first time ever. Between 1 and 4 red mushrooms or brown mushrooms. Between 3 and 8 pieces of flint, again yet another renewable source for the first time with flint. We've got rotten flesh here between 4 and 12 pieces, really just a waste product. I suppose if you've got a villager, cleric, and you're trading with him, that's perhaps a good thing for you. Between 1 and 4 pieces of crimson fungi. I don't know why that is more common than the warped variant, to be honest. Again, I'm not seeing the logic with that. And again, another renewable source for nether brick. Between 1 and 4 nether bricks you'll get in return for your piece of gold. So I'm sure there's going to be some great farms comes out of these guys. There is an exploit at the present time, whereas if you give your hoglin a piece of gold, he looks at it for a certain length of time, and if you were to kill him in that period of time, you'd get the gold ingot back. So not only would you get the item that he's traded with you, you'd also get the gold ingot as well. Shortly, in about 10 seconds, he puts it away in his inventory. But for a while, he stands looking and shiny. And yeah, if you're that way inclined, you could just bump him off and get your gold ingot back. But that means that there's actually quite a good exploit where you don't really have to spend any gold to get anything from them. You can just keep trading or bartering with them, killing them, getting gold ingot back, moving on, and so on. So there's some great farms, no doubt, going to come from that. Now, piglins spawn in the Crimson Forest. We're in a Crimson Forest at the moment, but they also spawn in the Nether Wastes. So a couple of biomes where you're going to see these guys. So it may well be worthwhile bringing a piece of gold armor with you if you're coming into the Nether after the 1.16 update. The other interesting fact about these guys, they will attack wither skeletons. Now, a wither skeleton stands absolutely no chance against a pack of these guys because they are hard-hitting mobs. So, again, possibilities for farms there using these guys to do our dirty work for us. The interesting thing, actually, they're not very fond of soulfire. So a soulfire torch, or a soulfire lantern, or soulfire itself, piglins will run like baby piggies because they don't like it at all. So this is a way we can control the mobs, and the way we can protect our bases in the Nether is by having these soulfire items surrounding our private areas. Because piglins are cheeky, they will just open your door and let themselves in. They're not shy at all. So maybe best to have a soulfire torch or a soulfire lantern near your base so that we keep these little fellows away. Now, as I said earlier, these guys prefer to attack in groups. They hunt the hoglins in groups, and also with the skeletons. That they'll prefer to attack it as a group. If you take a piglin into the overworld, they will shudder and shake, and they will zombify. They'll turn into zombie pigmen, or zombified pigmen, as I believe they will be called in the updates. Now, the other these are funny. The other mob that's been introduced is the hogling. Now, this fella wanders around the Crimson Forest, and he's a passive mob. Hoglings are scared of warped fungi, and if you put a piece of warped fungi down, the piglin will immediately try and avoid it. Look, he's running away like a little baby piggy. There he goes. There he goes. So, if you see these guys, just grab hold of some warped fungi and they'll not bother you. Now they drop pork chops, so they're now a good source of food in the Nether. Previously we had to take all of our food with us, but now we can hunt these guys and get ourselves pork chops whilst in the Nether. So it saves coming back to the overworld to grab more food. Now Piglin will, without doubt, hunt the Hogling, and they'll hunt them quite fiercely, actually. Just watch what happens here. Now, it's usually when they're in groups of more than one, because they're a little bit cowardly, actually, the Piglin, when they're on their own. They don't do so much. They will hunt the Hogling, though, if they're in a pack. Sometimes they don't even bother with them. And as I said earlier, they don't bother with the baby piglins, sorry, the baby hoglings. They seem to respect the fact that they're babies and that they don't present any threat. But they will certainly hunt the hogling. So there's been some great changes so far, and there's still more to tell you. So let's crack on. Some of the smaller changes. Endermen can now pick up Nylium roots and fungi variants, but they will no longer pick up netherrack. Hoglings will attack players on sight, like I say, except if you're holding a piece of warped fungi, in which case they'll leave you alone. Aside from pork, they also sometimes drop leather, which is a resource that we can always use. And we can breed them, actually, with crimson fungi, but that doesn't stop them attacking you. You're still under threat, even though you're breeding them. The other change is that withers can now be summoned using soul soil as the base object rather than soul sand. So there's two blocks now we can use to summon the wither. And also piglins and hoglins will count towards the monster hunter and monsters hunted advancements in the game. So you can get those achievements whilst you're in the Nether now for the first time. So there's been some amazing changes, I think, in this update, and it's very, very exciting. I can't wait for it to be introduced, and it's not really going to be that long, to be honest. We're expecting the 1.16 update to hit us at some point during the first part of 2020. So thank you, Mojang. You've outdone yourselves this time. I can't wait for this update to drop, and I'm sure you will have lots of fun as well. So if you've enjoyed this video, please press the like button. It really helps the channel out, and if you've really enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. I will be forever in your debt, and I'd appreciate it more than you will ever know. But until next time, thanks for watching. Bye!